My schedule nowadays is completely different compared to when I was a kid. In the past, I usually followed with my parents' routines and I did what I like. I was very comfortable with me, but now I become a mature person. I sleep enough and wake up early. My schedule nowadays is completely different from when I was a kid. In the past, I usually followed my parents' routines and I did what I like. I was very comfortable with me, but now I become a disciplined person. I sleep enough and wake up early. My favorite food now is completely different from my favorite food in the past. When I was a kid, I liked prefer sugar foods like candies and cake. However, now I take in more in health and I like beef and chicken.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. One, fluency and coherence. Your answer is fairly clear, but the structure could be smoother. Some sentences feel disjointed. Try to connect ideas more naturally. Estimated level, band 6. Lexical resource. You use some good vocabulary like sugar food and healthy, but there were a few awkward or imprecise phrases. For example, completely
Completely
different is
different is
good,
good,
but
but
you
you
mixed
mix
in
in
post
post
twice in a
twice in a
confusing
confusing
way.
way.
Estimated level, band 6. Grammar.
Grin.
There are a
There are
few
a few
grammatical
grammatical
mistakes.
mistakes.
My
My
favorite is
favorite is
now
now
eat,
eat.
should be
Should
my
be my
favorite
favorite
food is
food.
now
Is now
completely
completely
different.
different.
I
I
liked,
like.
should be I
Should be I
liked or I
liked or I
used to
used to
like.
like.
I prefer sugar food. More natural would be I prefer sweet foods. Estimated
Estimated
level
level
band
band
5,
5,
6 to
6 to
6.
6.
Again, I'll assume clarity since I don't have the audio, but if your pronunciation was clear and natural, it might be a band 6. Estimated
Estimated
overall
overall
band,
band.
model
Model
answer
answer
band
band
7 to
7 to
8.
8.
Yes, my favorite food has changed quite a bit. When I was
When
a
I was a
child, I
child, I
loved
loved
sweet
sweet
foods
foods
like
like
candies and
candies and
cakes.
cakes.
But
But
nowadays, I
nowadays, I
prefer
prefer
healthier
healthier
options
options
like
like
grilled
grilled
chicken
chicken
or
or
fresh
fresh
salads.
salads.
I think
I
my
think my
tastes have
taste has
evolved as
evolved
I've
as I've
gotten
gotten
older.
older.
Avoid
Avoid
repetition of
repetition of
post or
posts or
unclear
unclear
words.
words.
Use
Use
past
past
tense
tense
naturally.
naturally.
Add a bit more detail like why your taste changed to reach band 70. Next question, is your way of studying now different from when you were a child?
My ways of studying now is completely different from in the past. When I was a kid, I memorized things without really understanding them because questions were very easy. But now I focus on self-studies and critical thinking skills and ask teachers and friends if I don't understand.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Here's your
Here's your
feedback.
feedback.
One,
One,
fluency and
fluency and
coherence.
coherence.
Your
Your
ideas
ideas
come
come
across,
across,
but the
but the
answer
answer
feels a
feels a
bit
bit
disjointed.
disjointed.
Some
Some
pauses or
pauses or
slight
slight
hesitations
hesitations
affect your
affect your
flow.
flow.
Keep the
Keep the
sequence of
sequence of
past
past
versus
versus
present
present
clear.
clear.
You
You
try to
try to
use
use
some
some
good
good
vocabulary
vocabulary
like
like
ideas
ideas
like
like
critical
critical
thinking.
thinking.
That's
That's
excellent,
excellent,
but a
but a
few
few
word
word
choices
choices
were
were
off.
off.
Memorize
Memorize
things
things
without
without
really
really
understanding
understanding
is
is
fine,
fine,
but
but
sufficiently would
sufficiently would
sound more
sound more
natural.
natural.
Be
Be
mindful of
mindful of
precision.
precision.
Estimated
Estimated
level
level
band
band
6.
6.
There are a few errors. My
My
way of
way of
studying
studying
now is
now is
completely
completely
different from
different
in the
from in the
past.
past.
Should be
Should be
from
from
what it
what it
was in
was
the
in the
past.
past.
Pursuits were
Pursuits were
very
very
easy,
easy,
clear.
clear.
Perhaps you
Perhaps you
meant
meant
less
less
challenging
challenging,
or
or
exams were
exams were
easy.
easy.
I
I
ask
ask
teacher and
teacher and
friends.
friends.
More
More
natural would
natural
be
would
I
be I
ask
ask
my
my
teachers or
teachers or
friends.
friends.
Estimated
Estimated
level
level
band
band
5,
5,
6 to
6 to
6.
6.
I
I
assume
assume
clarity
clarity
here,
here,
but
but
based on
based on
writing,
writing,
so
so
possibly
possibly
band
band
6.
6.
Just
Just
ensure
in
even stress and natural intonation. Estimated overall band is 6. Yes, my
my
approach to
approach to
studying
studying
has
has
very
very
changed a
changed a
lot.
lot.
When I was
When
a
I was a
child, I
child,
would
I
just
would just
memorize
memorize
facts
facts
without
without
really
really
thinking
thinking
deeply
deeply
about
about
them
them
because the
because the
classes were
classes were
simple.
simple.
Now I
Now I
focus
focus
much more
much
on
more on
understanding
understanding
concepts and
concepts and
applying
applying
critical
critical
thinking.
thinking.
If I
If
don't
I don't
understand
understand
something, I
something, I
ask my
ask my
teachers or
teachers or
discuss it with
discuss it
my
with my
friends.
friends.
Corrections and
Corrections and
improvements.
improvements.
Clarify
Clarify
past
past
versus
versus
present when I
present
was
when
a
I was a
child
child
versus
versus
now.
now.
Avoid
Avoid
simple
simple
memorization.
memorization.
Show how
Show
you
how you
apply your
apply your
knowledge.
knowledge.
Keep your
Keep your
grammar
grammar
structures
structures
consistent.
consistent.
Practice
Practice
using
using
relative
relative
clauses
clauses
like
like
when I
when
was
I
a
was a
child.
child.
Next
Next
question.
question.
Is your
Is your
hometown now
hometown now
different from
different
what it
from what it
was like
was like
10
10
years
years
ago?
ago?
10 years ago, my hometown was quite rural and quiet. Single-story house appears a lot in my hometown. but now it becomes modern cities with shopping malls, schools, and modern facilities.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. One, fluency and coherence. You kept a steady pace, and the comparison between past and present is clear. However, adding just a bit more detail or a personal example was strengthening your answer. Estimated level band 6 to 5. You use some good descriptive words like quaint and modern city. You could have added more variety, for example, bustling or dynamic to describe the change. Estimated level band 6. There are a few minor issues. Singular story house appears a lot, should be single story houses appear a lot. Is becoming, it's fine, but keep tense consistent. My hometown was quite rural, you might say my hometown used to be quite rural. I'll assume clarity again. If your pronunciation is steady, it's likely around band 6. Estimated overall band. Model answer band 7 to 8. Yes, my hometown is very different now. 10 years ago, it was a small, quiet village with mostly single-story houses. But today it's grown into a modern city, filled with shopping malls, schools, and a lot of new facilities. It's become much busier, more dynamic. Corrections and improvements. Add more contrast between the past and present. Examples, specific examples of changes. Use a range of vocabulary like transform or revolve to keep tenses accurate and consistent. Is your personality now different from when you were younger?
My personality is now different from when I was younger. In the past, I was a happy person with many beautiful memories. My life was comfortable and funny. However, now I become more mature. The world around me changes a lot, so that I have many good habits and bad habits.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. Fluency and coherence, your answer has a clear structure and you compare past and present well. However, some phrases feel a bit repetitive and you could develop your explanation by adding a specific example of how you've changed. Estimated level band 6. You use some good vocabulary like memories and mature. Still, my life was comfortable could be phrased more naturally, like I had a very carefree life. Just a lot is a bit vague, add a clearer adjective. There are a few issues. My personality is now eat different, should be is now different. My life was comfortable and funny, consider comfortable and joyful or happy. I have many good habits and bad habits. Try, I have developed both good and bad habits. Estimated level band 566. Assuming clarity, if your pronunciation was steady, it might be around band 6. Estimated overall band is 6 overall. Model answer band 7 to 8. Yes, my personality is quite different now. When I was younger, I was a carefree, happy child, always smiling and enjoying every moment. But now I'm much more reflective and mature. I pay closer attention to my actions and how they affect the people around me. Provide more depth. Explain how you became more mature. Give an example. Refine your vocabulary. Carefree and reflective, add richness. Ensure smoother grammar transitions, especially when shifting between past and present. Next question. Is your lifestyle now different from your parents' lifestyle?
My lifestyle is quite similar to my parents' lifestyle because I learned from my parents a lot. My lifestyle and parents were simple and slow, but we have a lot of beautiful memories.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. One, fluency and coherence, you kept a steady rhythm, and your ideas are easy to follow. However, the answer could be more developed, maybe add a specific habit or activity you share with them. Estimated level band 6. Your vocabulary is clear, but your words like simple and slow could match up. Examples, you could say disciplined, traditional, and calm. This would add variety. My lifestyle is very similar. My lifestyle is quite similar, correct, but be sure to keep tenses consistent. My lifestyle and parents was simple, should be more simple. We have a lot of beautiful memories, correct, but could be expanded. Example, we have created many cherished memories together. My lifestyle is quite similar to my parents' lifestyle. If your speech was clear, you might be around band 6, just ensure steady stress and natural intonation. Estimated overall band is 6. Yes, my lifestyle now is somewhat similar to my parents. They taught me the value of a simple, balanced life. We prioritize family time, staying organized, and being mindful of our health. I still follow many of their habits, though I also incorporate some modern technology and faster-paced routines. Add specific details about habits, example, activities you both do. Expand on how your lifestyle is similar or different. This adds depth. Use more varied vocabulary like balanced, disciplined, and tradition. Next question, are your hobbies now different from what they were in the past?
In the past, I spent most of my free time playing outdoor games, but nowadays I am more into reading Chinese and sometimes sport with my friends because it helps me build up my muscle and strengthen health.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. One, fluency and coherence. You express yourself clearly, and there's a logical comparison between past and present. However, you could add a bit more detail, perhaps why you shifted from video games to reading or sports. Estimated level band 6 to 5. You use a good variety of words like free time, reading, and charity. However, spending outdoor games is a bit awkward. You can say playing outdoor games or participating in outdoor activities. Also, help me improve should be helps me improve. There are a few small issues. I spend most of my free time playing outdoor games, correct, just ensure a smoother flow. Nowadays, it's fine, but consider these days, it helps me improve. Correct, just keep tense consistent. Pronunciation. If your pronunciation was steady, likely around band 6, keep your stress and intonation natural. Estimated overall band 6. Model answer band 7-8. Yes, my hobbies have changed significantly. As a child, I used to spend a lot of time playing outdoor games, especially with my siblings. But nowadays, I'm really passionate about reading novels and engaging in charity work. I also play sports occasionally with friends, which helps me stay active and balanced. Be specific about the hobbies you now enjoy. Add examples. Use a wider range of vocabulary. Passionate, engaging in, stay balanced. Keep your grammar precise. Practice present simple versus present continuous. Next question. Is the way you communicate now different from before?
The ways I communicate now is completely different from when I was a child. In the past, I relied more on face-to-face conversations or phone calls, but now social media and instant messages dominate the way I communicate with others.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. One, fluency and coherence. Your ideas are clear, and you make a good contrast between past and present. Adding a bit more detail like examples of platforms you use would enrich the answer. Estimated level band 6 to 5. You use good words like social media and instant messages. Still dominates is a strong choice, consider also pervades or shapes the ad. A few small corrections. The way I communicate now is completely different. In the past, I relied more on correct, but phone calls should be singular plural consistently. Social media should be social media and uncountable. Estimated level band 5, 6 to 6. If your pronunciation was clear, you're likely around band 6. Just keep a steady rhythm and natural stress. Model answer band 7 to 8. Yes, the way I communicate now is very different from when I was younger. As a child, I mostly relied on face-to-face conversations and occasional phone calls. But today, social media and instant messaging have completely reshaped how I stay in touch. I can connect instantly with people anywhere in the world. Add a specific example of the platform. Example, Instagram, WhatsApp. Use a range of meaning words like however. Keep your grammar accurate by avoiding plural forms of uncountable nouns like media. Is your taste in music now different from when you were younger?
When I was younger, I only listened to cartoon songs, comedy music, which bring fun to me. But now, while my hobby is music, I enjoy traditional music, dance, and pop music.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. Your answer is easy to follow when you compare past and present tastes well. You could expand slightly on why your tastes change. This would add depth. You use some nice words. You use some nice words like childhood songs and traditional music. However, hobbies music is a bit unclear. You might say, my favorite music or the type of music I now enjoy. There are some small issues. I only listen to kinds of songs. Should be I only listen to certain kinds of songs, which bring fun to me, try which brought me a lot of joy. Now it's my hobbies music. Should be now I enjoy different kinds of music. Estimated level band 5, 6 to 6. I assume clarity here, likely band 6. Keep a natural rhythm, especially on transitions. Yes, my favorite music has evolved a lot over the years. When I was a child, I mostly listened to cheerful pop songs and children's music because they were fun and lighthearted. But now I've developed a love for traditional folk music as well as modern pop, so my musical preferences are much more. Corrections and improvements. Expand on the types of music you enjoy now, add a style or artist. Use linking words like however and contrast. Refine grammar by using precise verb tenses and subject verb agreement. This is the last question I'll ask for now. If you'd like to do more practice or go over something else, just let me know. Go ahead with your answer whenever you're ready. I'm listening closely and I won't interrupt.
When I was a child, I thought schools would be all fun and games, but in reality, this turned out to be quite demanding challenges with lots of assessments and exams that I hadn't expected.
Thank you. Here's your feedback. One, fluency and coherence. Your answer has a clear structure and you contrast expectations with reality well. Just a bit more elaboration on how you handle the challenges or what keeps you motivated to give it even more depth. You use some good vocabulary like demanding and challenges. To add variety, you could mention academic pressure or rigorous. Also, I had been affected as a bit vague. You could explain the impact like stress or time management. Mostly correct, but a few small issues. I thought school would be all fun and games. Correct, just keep the subject consistent. This turned out to be quite demanding. Perfect, just watch tense. I assume clarity here, like band 6. Just keep a steady rhythm. Estimated overall band is 6. Yes, my school life is quite different from what I expected. As a child, I assumed school would be mostly fun and relaxed, but in reality, it has been far more demanding. The coursework was challenging, and I've had to develop stronger time management skills to keep up with the academic expectations. Corrections and improvements. Add a bit more detail on how you manage challenges. Use academic language like coursework or academic expectations. Keep grammar consistent, especially with present perfect. I have been effective. If you have any further practice or need clarification, I'm here.
When I was a child, I relied on memory resources, but now I plus more shifted towards understanding concepts and apply them. Compared to before, I also use technologies like online courses and digital notes, which make studying more efficient.
Thank you for your answer. Let me give you some feedback. First, on fluency and coherence. You spoke clearly and your ideas were logically connected. There were just a few small pauses, but overall it was smooth. Second, lexical resource. You use some good vocabulary like applied concepts and digital notes. I'd say adding a bit more variety, maybe some academic terms would help. Third, grammar. The grammar was mostly correct. I noticed a small issue. You said compared to before, which would sound smoother if you said compared to how I studied before. Pronunciation, your pronunciation was clear. The only minor thing is that efficient could be a bit more precise if you stress it for a syllable. For the band score, I'd estimate around band 6.5. You have a solid answer, but a bit more vocabulary, sophistication, and smoother phrasing. Here's a band 7-8 model answer. When I was younger, I used to study mainly by memorizing facts from textbooks. However, nowadays, I focus more on understanding underlying principles. I frequently use online lectures, interactive quizzes, and digital flashcards, which make my learning both deeper and more engaging. Specific corrections for you: try to expand on each change with a bit more detail, and vary your sentence structure. Great start, just a bit more depth. Of course. Here's your next question. How has technology changed your life? Please take your time to answer, and I'll give you detailed feedback afterward.
Technology has completely transformed my daily life. On the other hand, it makes communications and learning much easier, but I sometimes feel too dependent on them.
Thank you for your answer. Let me give you some feedback. First, fluency and coherence. You kept a steady flow and your ideas were easy to follow. I'd suggest a bit more elaboration, perhaps give a specific example of how communication and learning is easier. Second, lexical resource. You use some good phrases like transform my daily life and easier communication. You could add a bit more variety, for example, mentioning specific apps or tools. Grammar. There was a small error. You said on the other hand, and you didn't contrast two ideas, so it felt a bit out of place. You could say, for instance, or simply expand on the causative side and acknowledge the downside more clearly. Pronunciation, your pronunciation was good, though debate sounded a bit like defeat. Just stress that vowel a bit more clearly. I'd estimate your band score around 6.5 again. Solid, but you need a bit more detail and precision. A band 7-8 model answer. Technology has radically changed my life by making everything more accessible. For example, I can now stay in touch with people across the world instantly through messaging apps. Additionally, I rely on online courses and digital tools to improve my skills, though I do try to balance screen time with offline activities. Key improvements: be more specific, add examples, and ensure you contrast positive and negative aspects clearly. Sure, here's your next question. How have your eating habits changed in recent years? Take your time, and once you finish, I'll provide detailed feedback.
Yes, my eating habit changed a lot in the recent years. In the past, I was crazy about fast food because it brings happiness and I feel very comfortable when I eat it. But nowadays, I prefer healthy options like vegetables and home-cooked meals. As a result, I feel more energetic and conscious about my health compared to before. In the past, I was crazy about fast foods and canned foods, but nowadays I prefer healthier options like vegetables and home-cooked meals. As a result, I feel more energetic and conscious about my health compared to before. In the past, I was curious about fast foods, but nowadays I prefer healthier options like vegetable and home-cooked meals. As a result, I prefer energetic foods and conscious about my health compared to before. Yes, I have really too many questions. My hometown changed a lot in the recent years. Over the past few years, my hometown has undergone significant changes. In the past, it was quiet and undeveloped, but now they are more modern cities with modern buildings, shopping malls, and better infrastructures. As a result, life has become more convenient and more busier. Back in the days, I used to sleep in and spend most of my time playing, but nowadays my routine is much more structured. I wake up early, go to work or study, and try to exercise. In the beginning, Learning something new is quite challenging because I am a new person and have to learn the laws and technologies. But after my efforts, I learned a lot and I think it's become more easier.